everyone. How's it going? I decided to make a second ASMR video pretty shortly after the first one. I had a much better time than I thought making that first video. I really wasn't sure how it was gonna go. I didn't really have many expectations, to be honest. And the response, I mean, like I said, I didn't really have any expectations, so I don't know, just thank you guys for everyone that's commented, subscribed. It kind of blew me away a little bit, so yeah, I decided to make another video, and this one will be hopefully even better than the first one. I worked on the mic settings a little bit. I invested in one of these foam things that should help with some of the harsh sounds that might have popped up in the first video, and then I don't know, I have more of a game plan as to what I'm going to do this video. So I'm also going to try not to ramble as much. I realized that in the last video I was making pretty good sounds, but you couldn't really hear them because I was talking so much, so some of you might like that, but I also want to make sure for those of you that want to hear like actual, ASMR noises, that, you can do that. So I'm still going to do my rambling because I can't help but not talk, especially about stuff that I enjoy talking about, right? So, but yeah, so I have a few things here on my desk I'm going to make some sounds with and talk about a little bit, and hopefully you enjoy it. So the first thing is this Blu-ray. It's inside Llewyn Davis. It's the Criterion collection. I actually just bought this like a few days ago. It came in the mail. For those of you that don't know, like every year, maybe multiple times a year, but every year, their Criterion collection, they will do like a 50% off sale. I think most of their stuff is 50% off during the sale, and I usually try to. To be honest, this is actually the first one I bought, but I always browse. I just never really buy anything, but I've been wanting to rewatch this movie. I've seen it a couple times, but I don't know if it's because that time of year. It's like, for those of you that have seen it, you know what I'm talking about, but it's a very kind of wintry, like, movie. It takes place, like, I'm pretty sure it takes place in the winter. It's cold in the city, and my wife hasn't seen this, so I wanted to show her it. We're kind of, I love me some Oscar Isaac, right? So, with Frankenstein and everything coming out, or actually it's already come out, but yeah, I love Oscar Isaac, and I know she does too, so, for probably many reasons. But, yeah, this is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I suggest giving it a watch. It's a perfect blend of kind of, it's a Coen Brothers film, right? So, it looks great, right? It's artsy. It's the color grading is phenomenal, but it also has like a lot of music in it, like folk music. It kind of takes place, I believe, in the '60s, kind of like Bob Dylan era. And I don't know, the music is such an important part of this movie, and it's not a musical. I'm not a huge fan. I love movies that incorporate music, but I don't really care for musicals. La La Land is the one exception to that. I love La La Land, but I feel like that's not your typical musical either. So I love movies that have music like this. Like another one of my favorites, which I don't think is a Criterion. I don't think it's part of the collection. Is Whiplash. Crazy good movie. Anyways, this is great. You should watch it if you haven't. But I think it's gonna make some pretty good sounds. So, yeah. Let me know if you guys, I mean, everyone probably has different tastes, but prefer faster tapping or slower tapping. Personally, I think I prefer slower tapping. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if you guys could tell, but this is actually a pretty cool cover. Hopefully it focuses. But you can see there's a cat and a guitar right here, and a cat up here. And if you've seen the movie, you know why there's a cat there. The cat's like the main character, to be honest. The cat should have won an Oscar. But it's pretty cool. I'm gonna open it too if it's not too loud. I don't know if that was too loud, we'll see. Really cool disc too. And there's a poster as well. There's an ASMR artist I've followed for a little bit now. I believe their name is Restful Tingles ASMR, and they do a lot of disc rattling. And I know, a lot of ASMR artists do the same thing, but I've actually never seen anyone else do disc rattling, which is why I'm calling them out right now. So if you haven't checked them out, you should. I will put a link to their channel in the description below. I always kind of like the rattling. This is a poster, I believe, and there's just some, like, I don't know, the Criterion collection always puts some extra fun stuff in there, and it kind of makes it worth the price sometimes. I mean, this was $20, so the fact that it was $40 regularly is a crime, but I will pay $20. I really, really like what best to always kind of support that. Before I move on to the next one, I'll read the back, so those of you that haven't seen it can kind of decide if you want to or not. So, inside Llewyn Davis. The visionary chroniclers of an eccentric Americana, Joel and Ethan Coen present one of their greatest creations in Llewyn Davis, a singer barely eking out of a living on the peripheries of the flourishing Greenwich Village folk scene of the early 60s. As embodied by Oscar Isaac in a revelatory performance, Llewyn, loosely modeled on the village folk legend Dave Van Ronk, is extraordinarily talented, but also rude and self-defeating. His circular odyssey through an unforgiving winter cityscape, evocatively captured by cinematographer Bruno Del Bonell. I have no idea if I pronounced that, but whatever. Is realized with poignant humor and occasional surreal touch. Featuring a folk soundtrack curated by T-Bone Burnett, Inside Llewyn Davis reminds us that in the Coen's world, history isn't necessarily written by the winners. So, that wasn't what I was. I've never actually read that before. That was definitely a special description from Criterion, because that was like the most. It said so much without saying anything. So, which I guess maybe sometimes is the point, but like you don't want spoilers, right? But there is a lot in here that was just like very. Oh, look at us. This is like an artsy film. So, yeah. Whenever I hear the word evocative, I just think of Anchorman. So, I can't really take that seriously, or, you know. Anyways. Okay, next, I wanted to compare the sounds of a typical, like, Blu-ray case to something else I like collecting, which is Steelbooks. This is The Last of Us Part 1, which I believe this came as a part of the PS5. I think was it technically a remaster or a remake? I don't know, maybe a remake. I know there's a difference, but whatever. So, but this was a Steelbook that came in that edition, and this is probably my favorite game of all time. I can play it, like, I've only played it a handful of times, but I could play it probably forever and not get tired of it. The second game, though, we won't talk about the second game, unless everyone wants me to. But let's not do that right now. So, this is a Steelbook, and it's pretty cool. You can see Ellie and Joel, and this is probably Boston. And then on the back is a Firefly emblem. And on the front, obviously, there's like, you know, fungus and fireflies and stuff, so it's not like a crazy Steelbook, but I always love a good Steelbook. I used to collect them a lot more. But to be honest, I kind of stopped collecting physical media a couple years ago. My wife and I, we've settled down more now, but we were relocated for that same job, and had a new apartment, and we moved into a house. And when you move a few times, especially across the country, you quickly realize how much space your stuff takes up. And physical media is one of those things that, while it's really nice to have and to not deal with, the licensing issues of a digital library, sometimes it's hard to maintain. But I will always buy a good Steelbook or a good movie that I've, want to, like, there's definitely a line there that I draw. It's like, okay, I want this, so I'm gonna keep it. But I've actually accumulated a pretty good digital library on Apple so far, and I can also always go through that too and kind of talk about that stuff. But yeah, as far as The Last of Us goes, I love this game, and I think this is going to make some pretty good sounds. It definitely sounds different than the regular case. I think that actually sounds pretty good. Let's do some slow tapping too. You know what I need to invest in is, like, I have one, but like a pen or something that I can tap with. I honestly might prefer the tapping on this versus the regular case. But I really like the sound of, like, the grabbing on the regular case. I mean, let's try it. Sorry if that popping's a little originally played this game on the PS3, and I remember bringing my PS3 downstairs at where I was living in college with my roommates. We had like a living room on the first floor, and I had a PS3, so I mean this game was super hyped. This was like sophomore, junior year of college, and brought it downstairs, brought my TV downstairs, and we went to Target, picked it up. There was like a display in the front, which I don't know if they ever do that anymore, and went home with a bag of 2 bags of purple Doritos. For those of you that know, best Doritos. And we had our minds blown in the first 20 minutes. And I'm not gonna do spoiler. I mean, I think most people that want to play this game have played it, but the first part of this game is a masterpiece and can just be. It's like a short story, but it's amazing. And we just proceeded to kind of switch off every, couple hours. And we were so engrossed that we would just, I don't typically like watching, like, I'll watch Twitch, but like, if I'm like sitting next to someone, I want to play the game. I don't just watch them play, but it didn't matter. This was like a movie. Yeah, just amazing experience. Season 1 of the show, also incredible. If you haven't seen it on HBO and you want to see it, definitely make some time to see it. Season 2, I'll just say this. I was excited to show my wife Season 2, just purely for her reaction. She loves Pedro, Pascal, and yeah, we didn't keep watching after episode 3, partly because she didn't really need to anymore, and I didn't want to, so yeah. I'm gonna try to open this very quietly so I can at least show you the inside. So, that's what the inside looks like. Nothing too crazy. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next thing because I don't want this to be too long. Okay, this is directly connected. This is actually the box for the Firefly edition. It's pretty cool. It's a little unnecessary, I'll be honest, but I had to have this. I used to display it. I have I picked up on eBay like a small kind of, I guess it's technically like I don't know, it's a belly. So I used to display that on top. It's like a little figurine statue thing, but it's not very big. I used to just display that on top of this, and then I also have the same edition. It's called something else, but for part 2, that was honestly before I played it. But I just wanted to collect it, to be honest, and I know I didn't have a kid at the time, okay? I had money to spend. This is the back. It's pretty simple. There's a bunch of stuff inside, and unbox it right now, because honestly I don't remember what's in here, but it's just like it's like some cards and stuff. I mostly just got it for the Steelbook, and this is the only way you can get the Steelbook, which is kind of annoying. But I think it makes some pretty good sounds. This thing is kind of awkwardly big, and I keep wanting to make sure it's in the camera. It's just like weirdly long. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's like skinny and long. So I'll tell you what though, I really like the texture of this. It's a really nice texture. PS5 Firefly edition. And there's Ellie. There's Jewel. Brooding. Last of Us Part 1. Firefly edition. PlayStation Studios. Naughty Dog. And Naughty Dog might be my favorite developer. I don't know, that's not really something I think about that often, to be honest, but they have made a lot of my favorite games. Like, I also love the Uncharted series. I'm a huge, like, Indiana Jones, like, adventure guy, so that series was right up my alley, and when I think about it, it makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, so too bad they haven't released, like, special editions of that, really, but, yeah. I'm gonna move on to my next thing, because it's a little different. Okay. So, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. This is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best first books to a fantasy series ever. If you were looking, it's part of the Final Empire. The Final Empire, I guess they call it just a series. Yeah, the Final Empire. Oh, yeah. And this is called Mistborn. The second one is called The Well of Ascension. And the third one is called The Hero of Ages. And it is probably, I don't know, don't fight me, but I think this is probably the best, like, trilogy you could start out with as a fantasy reader. Like, an adult fantasy reader. Now, there's, I don't know, it's not like Harry Potter, it's, you know, it's an adult, you know, there's a lot of, I don't know, it's just more advanced than some of the younger, like, I grew up reading, like, younger fantasy, youth fantasy, I think that's what they call it, and, this is obviously different than that, and, if you've never read fantasy before, I think this could be a great starting point. Yeah, Mistborn, you could see the Mistborn Trilogy 1. It says, "The mists rule the night. The Lord Ruler owns the world." I'll read the back. "Once a hero arose to save the world. He failed. Ever since, the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist, controlled by the immortal emperor known as the Lord Ruler. But hope survives. A new uprising is forming, one built around the ultimate caper, the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind, and the determination of an unlikely heroine. A street urchin who must learn to master the power of a Mistborn." I mean, I've read other fantasy, obviously, but this was my first this is my first Sanderson book, and fell in love with it immediately. It did take me a while to get through, just because I didn't have as much time to read this as I would like, and I wasn't super into reading at the time when I picked this up, unfortunately. I read a lot for my job, and so casual reading for me, reading for fun, it's not something I'm always like. It took me a while to get back into it after finishing law school, and then kind of, getting into my job. And once I settled in, though, I started reading again casually, and of course I wanted to read fantasy. I love all this stuff, sci-fi, fantasy, and I needed to pick this up. I have a buddy who swears by Sanderson, and he recommended this, and obviously it's recommended like almost everywhere. So yeah, it was a great book. The third book is my favorite. Second book is good. It's also very good. They're all good. This book is simpler. I feel like it's more straightforward. Second book is more about like the political intrigue of the fallout of this book. And third book is just a wild ride. And it is probably, it has a very, very satisfying ending. Like if you want to feel satisfied, if you want a satisfying like fantasy ending, like I love, like, some people don't like this, but I'm a fan of like hero's journey, like lore, prophecies being fulfilled. I love all that stuff. I also love when there is kind of a question as to a prophecy, and someone's figuring it out, or multiple people are figuring it out. And this book does that. And it's also one of those books, and Sanderson does a really good job of kind of, you wouldn't know it at the time, but there is a lot you could go back to and reread and kind of catch things that you missed that would have hinted at, the ending, or parts of the ending, or certain reveals and stuff like that. This is just a Tor Fantasy publication. I have some nicer versions of the second and third books, because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and I don't know, maybe one day I'll get just the first book again, just to have all three with nice additions, but this one is well loved, as you can tell. Sanderson does a very good job at creating systems. Like if Tolkien was the king of language, Sanderson is the king of magic systems. And I don't know, it's just incredible. And it's such a unique magic system too. I'm not going to get into it just because I don't want to spoil it for folks, but it's really good. And I read another one of his books called Warbreaker, which is just a one-off, completely different magic system, totally unique. Like, totally unique. At first, it's so unique that I, didn't understand what it was. But, great book. Another great book. It took me a while to kind of get into it, but the second half of that book is phenomenal. Pretty good. I have one more thing to show you guys. Well, it's technically two things, but it is based off of a promise I made in the last video. So, this sounds too good, I can't put it down. If anyone has any suggestions on what what you want to hear, what I can make videos on, or what has been good so far and you want to hear more of, I am open to that stuff. I mean, I can just continue grabbing there's, back there, I have a closet. I call it my nerd closet. It's basically just filled of nerd stuff. I was collecting Funko Pops for a while. I don't have that many. I might have like 20. That's probably a lot to some people, but they were mostly gifts. I wasn't collecting them. I was just getting them as gifts. And then for a while, for a few years, I was collecting omnibuses, like Marvel Comics and DC Comics omnibuses. That was physical media that I just couldn't handle anymore. I need to probably get rid of them, but some of them are very, they mean a lot to me, and yeah, I don't want to, so it was hard moving with those though. Like those movers, they earned their money, they earned their tip. I have a lot of them, and they're very heavy for those of you that don't know, and I could always show some of that stuff, but I have some Legos in there, a lot of cool stuff, and I also have some stuff out here. I mean, I have Switch games, I have PS5 games, I have books, just plenty of stuff I can make content on if you would like to see it. And plenty of stuff I could talk about as well. Okay, so last thing. In the last video I said I would show you guys my two other mice. One for work, one for play. But this is my work mouse. It is the MX Master 3. And it is well loved, and it probably definitely looks gross. I mean, it's just worn out because I use this thing every day. And that looks disgusting, and I'm very sorry about it. It's just worn out. That's all it is. And then this is... It's a razor. And it's a little worn out, but this one just doesn't have... I mean, this one is not... in my opinion, it's a good mouse, but the material doesn't feel as high quality as on that. I don't know the model. I might have been like the, I don't know, basilisk or something. I might have just made that up. But it came with a charging kind of mount, which is over here. And I just set it on there, which is really convenient. So I'm all for convenience and efficiency. But it has some RGB lights on it, which I don't really... When I first built my PC, I was like, oh, RGB, oh my god. But now I'm like, I don't really care. So, but I got this mouse, so I love finding a good deal, and I frequent the, well, not so much anymore, because I kind of stopped. It was a problem, but I frequented the Build a PC sales subreddit, and, you can find some good deals on there, right? So, Black Friday, you guys should check it out if you're trying to find some good deals on tech. But I found this on there. It had the shape I was looking for because of this mouse. I love the shape. So it also has scrolling wheel that you could lower the resistance. I have a little bit of resistance on here for I don't know why, but you could lower the resistance all the way, and it's smooth, but it's not like this one is like really good. This is a poor imitation, but it does the job. But again, it has a charging thing. I just put it on there, and it's really convenient. So this thing I love, and I need to get another one. I've had this for a few years now, and it was crazy spending this much on like a work mouse. I mean, I showed you guys what I was working with before, and like that was because I lost my other work mouse, which is like half the size of it. It was like a mini Logitech mouse. But I was like, it's really kind of dumb, but I got like a little promotion at work, and I was like, ooh, I should, like look the part. So I got myself a nice mouse, and I love this thing. I don't know if you guys can see how it scrolls. That's moving. And then it stops. And this mouse to me is just super comfy. I'm on the computer all day, and to be honest, I'm not super into PC gaming anymore for that exact reason. I feel like it's kind of hard to explain that to people who don't work from home. I have, well, he's technically my brother-in-law now, but he's a huge PC gamer, and he wanted me to buy Arc Raiders on the PC, and I'm like, bro, I tried, and it's hard being on the PC for entertainment, like after you've been working at the same desk on the same screen all day. And I have a nice setup, I'll be honest, and I'm happy to show you guys that one day, but it's a nice screen, it's an OLED screen, like, I have a nice PC too, and, I should want to, but I just enjoy sitting on a couch. I grew up playing console, Xbox, and I told you guys, I enjoy sitting on a couch and playing something on a big screen, or like, I picked up a Steam Deck last year, and that's been fantastic. That sounds really good. I think the mouse clicks are going to be loud, but I'm going to try. I'm going to put it far away. bounce or be smooth and it just spins like zero gravity, like your Sandra Bullock in Gravity. Sorry. But whoever invented this, just I hope you have everything you want in life. I hope the sounds are better this time. I also hope the way everything sounds is better this time. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna do, let's see if this other mouse sounds good at all. It might not, it's very plasticky. That's different. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I don't know. That's better. Not too bad. That kind of sounds like a cat purring. I don't like those either, so I think I'm gonna skip that. Well, that just about does it. But let me know maybe what sound was your favorite, or what you might want to see next time. Like I said, I have plenty of things I can kind of talk about or make sounds with. And, I don't know, it is a very special time of year as well, so maybe I'll do, my wife was suggesting doing a holiday ASMR with some of her holiday decorations, which could be fun. But I hope everyone enjoyed and was able to relax, maybe fall asleep, maybe alleviate some anxiety or stress, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their day or evening. I'm probably going to go to sleep after this because I'm tired. So, anyways, I appreciate everyone watching, and I'll see you next time.